Greetings. I'm online, I'm on the air, bringing you guys another art tutorial, because I strongly believe that education should be free. Some places it is, but not here in corporate America. So for this tutorial, what I'm going to be covering is some retopologizing work. I'm going to be using 3dCoat to retopologize 3dCoat. Ba-dum-bum. Sorry. Okay, so what you want to do when you open up your 3dCoat application is you want to import your mesh as a reference object, a reference mesh. So let's pretend that you have a high polygon object that was built in what have you. I built mine using ZBrush, but it could like come in from it could be an OBJ that came in from anywhere. My ZBrush object is about somewhere between 1 million and like 2 million points or polygons or something like that. So 3dCoat seems to handle like high polygon objects like pretty well. Now, the controls are pretty like intuitive. You press Alt and left, middle, and right button, mouse buttons, in order to like move and rotate and zoom and pan and stuff like that. I usually use like a tablet to do stuff as opposed to a mouse. Because I'm weird and crazy like that, I suppose. So I'm always getting the buttons mixed up, the buttons confused. Oh yeah, make sure your retopple button is turned on, so you can actually retopple it. Now, under Windows, you'll notice that like lots of other applications, they actually have windows for like different windows. 3dCoat is a little different. Instead of windows, you have pop-ups, but it's essentially the same idea. Now, instead of theirs, you're gonna use your objects in case you want to turn off your high definition object thing. I'm gonna open up this other pop-up, my tools palette. It's essentially the same thing as the palette on the side, but you can like position it in your window somewhere, so it's like easier to click on it. I'm not really sure if they're like shortcuts for all these buttons. I've just been like using the buttons on the side, but these might be a little like faster and easier to access than ones all the way on the side. So the add and split tool, it's pretty simple. Most of these tools are pretty simple. You can add points and create polygons with it, or you can like split polygons. Now if I click here and here, it should create an edge, and it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. Sometimes it does that. Like usually it works pretty fine, but sometimes it does stuff like this, and it doesn't come out exactly the way you want it to. Like when I click here and here, it comes out fine. You gotta make sure like the sides are, see, that's the way it's supposed to come out. You gotta make sure like the different sides, the different things are properly highlighted and whatnot. Quads is another method of generating polygons. Click in different areas. Right? You're essentially just dragging out polygons from pre-existing polygons. That's what quads does. And there are like different methods of which you can drag them out. You can drag them out using a two-click method, a parallel method, a direct method, and a trapezoid method. And they essentially all do the same thing. It's just a matter of like how they're being dragged out. And you can see that they drag out in different manners. And depending on what you're trying to do, what you're trying to build, like some methods might be like better and easier to work with than other methods. So if all else fails, the two-click method usually works out. Points and faces, you can just click in like different areas, and like that. And when you go in the middle and middle click or mouse click, I'm not really sure which because I've got a tablet and a stylus, you can generate a polygon right then and there. So that's like a pretty nifty tool that you can use for generating polygons. Yeah. The application is like the cap tool. What it does is it takes edges, like unclosed edges, open edges, right, and it tries to cap it. This isn't exactly a very good situation in order to utilize the cap tool, so I'll just save it for later. Now what I kind of liked is like this stroke tool. This stroke tool is like pretty nifty because essentially all you do is like you draw where you want your edges to be, where you want your edges to show up, right? sketch, 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 sketch. And then afterwards, when you hit the enter button, the program tries to generate polygons based on where you put all those strokes. Now this is retopologizing, and you use something like retopologizing in order to generate a mid-poly object, a mid-poly model, or a low-poly model from a high-poly model. And it can be good to do something like that, right? Because it like helps with like getting better topology and getting your topology to better match any kind of normal maps you may want to like build, you may want to generate. It wasn't really my intent to cover like normal maps here. Now I might like end up covering things like normal maps in like a different tutorial. Select tool, you can select vertices or edges or faces and move them around, and you can also like snap vertices to other vertices and like it automatically wheels them. It's actually quite nifty. So if you wanted to like take your high poly model that's like 20 million, that's 20 million polygons, and you wanted to like put it inside a video game or make an animation with it, this is what you would have to do. You'd have to retopologize it in a similar fashion like this, and then like texture it and whatnot. Now the delete polygons tool is pretty nifty and pretty straightforward. You select a polygon, you click on it, and it explodes or vanishes. Most of these tools are actually pretty straightforward. Like again, I just like started using this application like a very brief while ago, like not too long ago, like maybe a couple of days ago, and I found that it's actually like pretty like it's quite intuitive. Yeah, if you're comfortable working with Maya or Max or ZBrush, you can like pick up like 3dCoat so fast and so easy. It's a very like intuitive application to use. It's very friendly. It's very user friendly, and it seems to like manage like a high number of polygons like pretty well. Like right now, my model is like somewhere between like 1 million and 2 million, and it's just like it's like nothing. Like for 3dCoat, this is like nothing. I'm not really sure what the limit is on 3dCoat. I haven't really investigated that. I haven't like tested it out. I haven't tried importing like a 2 million or 20 million object, 20 million polygon object in there. I should try that out actually. I'll try that out afterwards. I'll find a 20 million polygon model, and I'm gonna stick into 3dCoat and see how it copes. You know, just for the hell of it. It'll be fun. So yeah, when you're retopologizing, you wanna like take a look at like the deepest crevices and get your edges in there, and then find like the highest points and get planes on those points, you know. And the topology and the normal maps kind of like support each other. They back each other up, and it comes out looking nice afterwards. See here, check this out. Okay, quad. So now you have like a lot of holes, right, in your mesh, and you can use point faces, right? And you just right click and it generates polygons in all those areas. I think this was already demonstrated earlier on in the video. Oh, whatever. I should have been like using caps there. That would have been a perfect opportunity to demonstrate capping. Well, whatever. Also, you're working on a thing, you want to see how your topology looks without the model. You can toggle the object's visibility option over here, and it comes on and off. You see, there's capping. That's the way capping works. You position, you like find an empty area, and then you click on it, or right click it or whatever, and it caps it kind of like that. Similar to this, I guess in terms of like working with Maya or 3D Max, it would be kind of like capping and tessellating a hole simultaneously, something like that. Why am I using 3dCoat? Well, initially I wanted to like try doing everything with Maya, right? But what I found about Maya is, well, you can do it in Maya. Maya has some plugins you can download off of the internet for retopologizing stuff. However, I just found that there were other applications